Good morning, this is Jack from Charting the Markets, and this is the pre-market webinar for the morning of Thursday, the 16th of April. My disclaimer, I do this for educational purposes only. I'm here to share my technical analysis with you. I hope you can take some of what I'm doing and learn from it, transfer it to your own charts. I'm not here to issue trading signals. This is a video for paying subscribers at chartingthemarkets.substack.com, and it's published on YouTube after a delay of 24 hours. All right, we went off and we made new highs on SPX, new all-time highs on SPX and Qs yesterday, and I'm expecting that to happen most likely on IWM, ideally today or tomorrow. And really, I'd quite like to see it happen on Nikkei as well. And I think it may have already happened, and it hasn't fed through to my my delayed charts on that. So these are very, very promising double top setups. In terms of the war, Trump's talking a good game, and it's all going to be over in a couple of days, and the Iranians really want a deal, etc. There's no actual evidence that any of that is true. And if we're taking Trump's word for it, well, let's just say his track record of telling the truth is a little spotty. To say the very least. I don't think he's telling the truth on this. I think he's still got a major problem here, and he's just hoping that the Iranians will, and encouraging them to by saying that they are already negotiating. I don't think they're going to fold. They might do. I mean, there may be things that we're not aware of that are happening in Iran. There may be strong reasons why they would need to fold, or they're becoming desperate or something. But at the moment, they're looking pretty solid. I think they can outweigh. They're saying they can outweigh the US. And actually, that's probably right. So on the evidence that is currently available, I'm still thinking this is the eye of the storm here. And what we're seeing here is what we would ideally see before we saw the next leg down. And that would be retest the high to set up double tops, which would be the only way to get big reversal patterns going on the Qs and SPX particularly. So anyway, let's have a look. We had a whole load of weak sell signals fixed yesterday. The one on ES failed. NQ didn't fail, although it really thought about it. So that one is still going. RTY, we've got a weak 60-minute sell signal, which is fixed. Went down too low in between for this to be a full sell signal now. But NQ get down into low here, and we've got a full sell signal there. On YM, we got a weak 60-minute sell signal fixed. Again, it's not going to become a full-size sell signal. DAX, we've still got a weak 60-minute sell signal fixed, and ESTX actually made target on the weak sell signal there. We didn't have a sell signal on on Nikkei. Sorry, coughing a bit today. So we'll see how this goes, but I'm really fairly optimistic that we're going to see at least a bit more upside. And I'm thinking we've got till the end of the week, and then I suspect no peace deal will be done at the weekend, and we're looking at a potential escalation. What form will that escalation take? Hard to say. But I suspect not a good form, because Trump's in a situation where to accept what the Iranians are demanding would look like a major defeat. Even if the rest of the world is looking at him thinking that it's a defeat already, admitting that to himself and to the American people is a big step. I'm not sure he's the guy to do that. SPX has retested the high. This has set up a potential much larger double top. But obviously the head and shoulders, the asymmetric double top that broke down has now failed. With the break of the previous high. In terms of the hourly chart, no current divergence on the RSI 14, weak RSI 5 sell signal brewing on the RSI 5, but obviously both of these sell signals here failed. That is unusual. It's very unusual. We have a load of sell signals like that which all fail, but sometimes they do, and this was one of those times. We're looking very overcooked on the RSI here, and we've got the the last time the RSI was this high was up here shortly before, obviously, a significant retrace, although that wasn't a major top or anything. But this is very, very overbought short term. I'm expecting to see some kind of reversal soon. In terms of the 15-minute chart, we had a head and shoulders, the asymmetric double top that broke down, that failed. A little bit of negative divergence here, an RSI 14 sell signal fixed. The last one made the possible near miss target. Obviously, it went straight through my trend lines here, and this does not look like an overthrow. We're probably going to need a bit of back and filling before we top out here, depending on, obviously, the news. All right, looking at the Qs, we may retested the high there too. So we got a large double top, which broke down, and that has failed. But we're setting up a potential larger double top here. So, and this is a pretty respectably sized one. And actually, if this one were to break down, which it doesn't necessarily have to, of course, and obviously very subject to news, but if the next few months proceeds badly, then then this is entirely doable. A sustained break below the 655 area would be looking for about the 475 area or slightly less, which would be all the way down here. I have been talking about the possibility that over the next few months we would retrace these wedges from the April lows last year, and I still think that's potentially on the table. In terms of the hourly chart here, we had the RSI 5 sell signal failed. We've got a possible RSI 5 sell signal RSI 5 sell signal brewing again. No divergence really on the hourly RSI 14. We've got a possible RSI 14 sell signal brewing on the 15-minute chart, and obviously we went through that trend line pretty hard there too. And when we get the next high, which I suspect isn't too far or much higher in the future, then I'll have a better idea about trend lines. In terms of the Dia chart, Dia hasn't retested the high, but it doesn't really need to, because actually alone of the others, we've got a credible head and shoulders forming here. And I'm thinking we may well be falling right shoulder high, which is good because we are miles away from a retest of the high here. We will see. But this is the one which could be a head and shoulders rather than a double top. Possible weak RSI 5 sell signal brewing, not taking it that seriously at the moment. Thinking that we've got a little higher to go, really, at least. And potentially that we could spike through for, couple of days for a decent amount. So we will see. We've still got an RSI 14 sell signal fixed on Dia. It's the only one that survived. We've got an RSI 14 sell signal fixed too, and we've still got the original rising channel I drew, which is still looking pretty good. All right, let's have a look at IWM. IWM, we've almost got back up to the retest of the high, and we came very close yesterday. We made a high at 269.58, and we only need to get up to 271.11 to retest the high. This is the last retest. We obviously failed the head and shoulders a while ago. That would normally result in a high retest, and that's the high retest I'm expecting. That could set up a very nice looking double top as well. In terms of the hourly chart, so we had the RSI 14 and the RSI 5 sell signals fixed. We are working on some more divergence, but haven't got it yet. But I didn't really want to see, I'd really like to see this high retested, and I'd like to see the Nikkei high retested as well. I don't think we've gone up higher overnight significantly on Nikkei, but it's not there yet, I don't think. I'd like to see it make that full retest and set up a double top there too. So we shall see how that goes, but we're very close on IWM, and it looks as though we're going to be doing that shortly. Looking at DAX, we are still testing the ribbon, which is the 200 DMA, the 50 DMA, the 100 DMA, all in the same area here. I'm not sure it's going to get through it. So do we have a topping pattern here? Alas, I don't think we do really, or at least it's not a decent one. I can draw one in, and actually it would be valid. It's just not as nice looking as I like them. But this is the one we would probably be using as and when, but I don't much like it. So, that doesn't mean it's not valid. That doesn't mean we can't use it. And I have to say it's got good points. I mean, for instance, the right shoulder and the left shoulder are almost exactly at the same height at the moment. But it's a little steep for my taste. So watching that with interest, that would be potentially a pretty deep one, but this is the sort of head and shoulders which I'm wondering, I just think it increases the chances of it failing when it's failing weak. We shall see. All right, great. Let's have a look at DX. DX, we are still kind of a bit lost in space here. We are maybe forming a bull flag, which may be the reason we're not getting down into the double top target at the moment, although it was a very nice looking double top. We'll see how that goes, but it looks as though we'll have a couple more days of upside on ES potentially, and this could be an opportunity to get down to this double top target in the 96.76 to 96.99 area. Looking at Euro, haven't made the IHS target here either. We are seeing a fair amount of consolidation. This looks like a bull flag on USD/JPY. This looks like a bull flag on USD CAD. Both of these would fit with the dollar going up soon. Australian dollar has retested this high, possible double top setup here. Not an awful lot to see, but nothing that's particularly discouraging for the dollar going up soon. ZB, this is we've got a double bottom that's broken up with a target in the 115.26 area. I am wondering about this possible larger IHS here, but I'm thinking while this might break up, I'm really doubtful about this making target. We've been seeing the bonds go down as the war is intensified. If it intensifies again, I think it's going to go down again. We shall see. We've already seen quite a lot of damage done to the prospects for inflation and so on over the rest of the year. And I really am leaning fairly strongly to the downside on bonds. Here, this kind of looks like a bear flag on ZN, although not a particularly nice one. In terms of oil, we are just trading sideways in the expectation. This is basically priced in a fairly high possibility of an end to the conflict in Iran. I'm doubtful about that. The ceasefire is about to run out. There's no agreement, and as far as I can tell, certainly looking at what the Iranians are posting, which unfortunately has been rather more reliable than what Trump has been posting, there don't seem to be any prospects for a peace deal at the moment. And furthermore, the Iranians are sitting in a very good position on the Strait of Hormuz. They've got enough missiles, they've got enough drones. They don't really need anything else for an asymmetric warfare. And honestly, they know perfectly. They're sitting there saying, we can plunge your economies into major devastation, and they're right. I think they can. So I don't see much reason why they would cave to the Americans, and they certainly, one thing that might end their regime, if they do, would be caving hard to the Americans. So they don't want to cave to the Americans. They don't want to cave to the Israelis. They're thinking they're in a strong position. I'm thinking they're probably right. HO, holding pattern. These are possible topping patterns, but I'm very skeptical. NG might be seeing a bit of a rally here. The 6-minute buy signal is reached possible near miss target. We've not got far off the ground. I'm not seeing an obvious reversal pattern here, but I am wondering about seeing a decent rally soon. On GC, GC kind of lost its space here, but we're not seeing any moves to the downside. On the other hand, this has been going. What I would love to see is gold going up with oil, and I'm thinking we might see that soon. I thought the gold going down while oil was going up, and equities were going down, was probably due to the fact that gold was just doing that anyway. So, but what I would love to see is this become a flight to safety, as and when a flight to safety becomes attractive again, which I'm thinking it will do pretty soon. In terms of SI, this kind of looks like a bear flag, and it's a slightly worryingly good bear flag, which looks like it's overthrown. I'd quite like to see some progress to the upside from here. Palladium still could be a bear flag. Platinum still could be a bear flag. HG, I've broadened out the chart here. We've pretty much got into the retest of the highs from February. And I'm wondering whether it's going to move on and go back and retest this high from January. And I'm thinking it might. Although bigger picture, I don't have a pattern that's directing there. It would just set up a pretty nice looking double top if it did get there. And as we can see on the S at the moment, sometimes in unlikely circumstances, you get high retests. All right, KC. This still looks like an overall bear flag forming. SB, I'm thinking we'll probably retest this low here, and this could well be a second low of a double bottom as and when we get there. 60-minute buy signal fixed here at the moment. CC, we had a very interesting one where we moved from a triangle into what is now a perfect bear flag channel. Wasn't quite as nice as this before we made this half high. Now it's just a beauty. I'd like to see this hold and head back into a retest of the lows, which would be the obvious flag target. If we break up from here, well, bear flag channels don't tend to overthrow. That would be a bad sign for the bear flag. CT has gone higher, and we've broken up from a big double bottom on the bigger picture. Lumber. I'm thinking this is probably going to resume the downtrend soon. That would start with a retest of this low here in the 560 area. On wheat, I'm liking the upside here. Bigger picture, I'm really liking the upside on cotton, wheat, corn, and soy. And this looks as though it might be starting the upside here. I'd like to see this IHS make the target in the 619 area and continue higher. Looking at corn, encouraging that it's broken up from this falling wedge. We do have a weak 6-minute sell signal fixed, but I'm rooting for this going higher. Soy, I think we're forming a right shoulder on a very big inverted shoulders. I'm thinking that the fertilizer shortages from the Strait of Hormuz may already have done enough damage to send these up to their targets. And that's what I would like to see happen next. ZL, keeping an open mind, but I'm leaning higher on this too. Live cattle is continuing higher. Lean hogs is not reversing back up yet. And of course, that may be because it's not going to. I would love to see this go higher. We shall see. I'm going to do some work on this weekend and have a look at where I think this is as a bear flag. Sorry, as a bull flag. But I think the lower it goes, the less impressive that is. We're still only at the 50% of the previous move. You can see the lines here, so we're not in danger territory yet, but I'd like to see it hold up soon. I really wouldn't like to see it below the 61.8. All right, great. In that case, let's have a quick look at questions, of which we have none. Okay, so I think that's a wrap. Everyone take care, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Cheers.